Hey there. I've recorded this intro for a bunch of times. It's getting pretty old. I hope this is the last take. Anyway, hello everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope you've had a good day, a good night, depending on when you're watching or listening to this. So, um welcome to the first episode of the podcast. I'm still debating whether or not I want to turn it what? I'm still debating whether or not I want to turn this into a regular thing, but I really hope I do. I hope I turn this into something that I will be doing regularly. There are a bunch of things that I've wanted to talk about in a podcast esque set or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm still coming up with the stuff as we go along. I'm still trying to figure everything out, uh, everything about it, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Okay. So before we start, I'd like to put out a disclaimer that I might talk about stuff that might be triggering to some people in any way or form. If you feel like you're not comfortable with anything that I mentioned in this video, you are free to leave, and I apologize. But I think it's necessary for me to say some of the things that I say. Maybe they're not even too crazy. Maybe I'm actually exaggerating. Maybe I'm actually thinking about it too much. But yeah, that's that. That's that. And yeah, I really hope you guys get something off of this. Like my goal with talking about whatever I'll be talking about in this episode and in future episodes, if it becomes a regular thing, is the goal is to just make you, like the very least, like the very extreme least, make you think about stuff on a deeper level, like bring them to your attention, make you think about them as stuff that is happening. Yeah, that's my point. That's my goal, and I hope I get to do that. I hope I get to achieve that goal. I don't have to change anybody's ideal sets or anything that they believe. I'm just talking about how my experience has been and how I think. It's just somewhere I'm just yapping. I'm gonna be doing a lot of yapping here. A lot of yapping that I might have not done on the main channel or in any video. So I feel like this is my safe space. I hope you guys can get something off of this as well. I'm rambling too much, so I'd like us to start. All right. Okay. The topic and the thing that I would like to start with is being on the internet and how it changes you, especially when you're young, because that's going to be the major reference point for me because I've been on the internet for as long as I can remember. I've had like it from way back. I've been on the internet way back, not even creating. Um, I remember in 20, probably, I don't know, 2015. I think it's where I started to get comfortable with the internet and started to kind of speak my mind and to be aware of my surroundings online. And before that, before I would say that I was before I can say I was fully subconsciously online, like chronically online is what I meant. For me, things were simple, you know? Like how I perceived people and how things were. It was a really simple ideal set. If I try to summarize it and kind of conceptualize it into what I thought the world to be, really delusional, a really delusional view, it's probably kind of cringe if some people might think that. But before I was on the internet and before I met some of the people that I know now or I experienced some of the things that I did online, I always had this thought that good people get justice or something. Like good people are treated like good people. And when I ever encountered someone who said something mean to me or something like that, I always uh, told myself that, oh, this person said that to me because that's the version of me that they see or they perceive me to be. That's not who I really am, right? And although I still believe that, we'll get to something else in a second, but it was really simple, to be honest. Good people get treated like good people. And when someone treats you otherwise, that's because they don't really know you, right? And I think that's where we come to draw the concept of, oh, stranger danger and that kind of thing. I was never insecure about how I looked, to be honest. I was never insecure about that in my early years. Like, I think as we, you know what, nobody ever mentioned it or nobody ever talked about it, but I can't think of a time when I was really like this self aware of how I look, of how other people are seeing me and how they're perceiving me. I was never that much self aware. And the internet changed that. And I'll be getting to that in a second of how it happened. Because when I was young, I never really thought about, oh my gosh, for example, I'm just throwing out examples. Oh my gosh, you have a really big big forehead or something like that. Oh, your hairline's whack as fuck. Oh my god, you don't look, you're not quote unquote handsome or whatever, you're not considered attractive or anything along those lines. I never really felt or had any such thoughts. I never had to think of whether people found me attractive. I never had to think about whether people thought I had a big ass forehead. I didn't have to think about whether people thought my hair was really black or my hair was turning brown or whether, like so many things, my eyes, like really minute and really nitpicky and small details about myself. I was never really self aware about them. And now getting into the internet now is when I started to be on the internet and started to put myself out there. It's actually a video that I'm working on that touches on this is Omegle. I was on Omegle. And when I started using it, I think I was in high school. And the first time that I used it, I remember being so finding it so fun and weird at the same time. Because as you'll hear in the video that I mentioned, I don't know if it's gonna be out yet, but I don't think it will be. Um, there was no moderation happening on Omegle. Like you could literally get on that website, and the first person you connect with would be beating their meat, and it's a weird ass 50-year-old man masturbating in front of you, and you're only 12 years old. And that's not even the worst part. They have the fucking audacity to try to get you to expose yourself as well. What the fuck? And you can imagine how coming from someone who had never seen or thought that someone could actually do that at that age, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to feel about that. And you're coming from a childhood of awe, of public decency. Like you should have the least amount of public decency. And getting from how do we get from that to finding 50-year-old men or just anything? I'm just using an example. How do you get from that to whatever that was? And that's not even the craziest part. So besides the weirdly and gross inappropriate things happening on Omegle, the other thing that I could talk about is the besides the let's just list out some of the things we had the inappropriate stuff, we had the racism, and now the third thing that I wanted to talk about that I want to touch on is the treatment that you got from other people. Like you'd match up with someone and you'd start talking to them and the conversation would be great. The conversation doesn't let's assume the conversation is just great. And then somewhere in the conversation they mention, "Oh my gosh, your eyes look a little bit misaligned." Like I don't know. Okay, let me I think I can show you guys. Okay. Like if I did this, you can see like the left this one, I think, yeah. Is that? Yeah, this one compared to the other one. If I did this one is leaning more to the what direction is this to the right or left. Like they're not like right now I'm staring directly at the camera, but one is like slightly on one side. And that's not something that I noticed before, or even if I had, I didn't think about it as much. But now you can imagine having someone on the internet point that out and be like, "Whoa, what's up with your eyes?" Like not even in a joking way, like, "Yo, what the fuck is up with your eyes? Hey, yo, whoa, check out this brother's eyes or something." You can imagine how you'd feel, especially as I mentioned before, when you're like 12, 13. That's the amount. I think even you're just a young teenager at that moment. You That's when the peer pressure and outside perception is really starting to take interest and take like have meaning inside you and whatever. And then when someone mentions that, you just go afterwards. You go and look at the mirror and you just start go like, huh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of right. My eye does look kind of fucked up. And then you start to think about that all the time. And you can't tell anyone because you don't want them to start bringing it up or judging you because of that and just start putting the blame on you that why were you even on the internet? You know that people can't be trusted. Oh, this and that, this and that. I don't want that. I'd rather have keep it to myself and never think about it again than tell someone and for them to never leave me alone about it. And yeah, I mean, in high school, people did actually start talking about it again because okay, even without me mentioning it to anyone, maybe I think they kind of noticed. You can kind of see it. I think right now it doesn't bother me. I guess. But at that time, I was really self aware that oh my fucking god, shit. I really hate myself. Like I really hate the way that I look. Oh my gosh. Another thing is like I had have like a really big ass whack ass forehead. Like what the fuck? And you can imagine going on Amigo and people talking about that, starting to bring it up. That at that moment that gets you that brings some level of body dysmorphia that like you're not comfortable with how you look and recovering from that can be really tough. Okay, when you're doing it by yourself, when you don't have anyone else to guide you. And I also can imagine how it could be the same way except a little bit different for girls. um but the point is okay, right, I just forgot my train of thought just disappeared. But yeah, being on the internet, like Omegle was such a really crazy site for me, and it kind of made me too much self-aware. And also not even Omegle, just the internet in general. That's when I think I was starting to make videos, and I think posting them on I think I posted there was a song that I posted on YouTube. There was a video that I posted on YouTube, and somebody's told me that oh my gosh, you look really ugly. What? Okay. Yeah, like dead ass though. Like I'm being totally honest here. Someone did actually comment that, "Oh my gosh, you look really ugly." And I'm still at that time it used to like affect me even if I even though I knew that they don't really know me. They're just trolling. Yes, although you are aware that these people are trolling and these people are just fooling around and trying to get to you, that doesn't take away from the fact that it affects you still. And it did. It did affect me. And it took a lot of having to get comfortable with so many things, like really so much work to get comfortable and to get where that I'm at. Um, and it was crazy because I couldn't talk to anyone because I didn't feel like there was an environment where I could share such things. Because as I said, if I tried to talk to anyone about this, they're gonna blame it on me. Why were you on the internet like that? Why don't you know that people on the internet are weird? You should know that. How was I supposed to know? I'm figuring this as well. I'm still trying to figure this out. And I think even in my I'll keep mentioning the Omigo video because it has some good points. Leah, who I interviewed, also said that I think children and parents should like educate their children on this type of stuff and being online, because I think it would have helped. It it might have not done the most, but it would have helped the very least. It would have done the very least for me because I would have prepared. I would prefer to be aware of such things, as I mentioned in that video. I'd prefer to be aware that such things might happen than be online and then for them to happen to me and for me to learn on my own. When I could have there could have been an alternative route. And also, I think that this type of treatment that people get if they were to talk about stuff that they've experienced online, like the cyberbullying. It's that cyberbullying is real. I know some people think that some people you've never seen the person. Why would you take their comment seriously? Cyberbullying is real. Like I don't understand how some people think it's not real and it's that can't affect you mentally. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand and to get better at everything, but it's a start. It's a start, and yeah, I'm glad that now I kind of just learned to accept those weird stuff about myself, I guess, if you wanted to call them that. But yeah, now when I go on to Amigo, I just don't take anything that someone says seriously. If it's negative or even if it's positive, I just take it with a grain of salt. I just don't take it too seriously. Nothing's really too personal, although some people can get personal. But yes, yeah, that's also been my experience. I don't want to get into the attractiveness part because I feel like that could make up a different video. I'm talking about how um, being called ugly, and has affected me and how I think and perceive relationships and girls and so many things along that concept and entire thing. I think that could make up a different episode. If you guys want me to talk about that, please leave it down in the comments. I would really like to hear what you guys' experiences are, what you guys have experienced on the internet, how, if whether or not you talked to anyone about it, did you get help? How did you recover from this if you experience anything like that? Like, just help other people out there because, yeah, some people really do need help. As much as it sounds stupid, I think that something as simple as "you look great today," as corny, as cringy, as weird, as cliche as it might sound, that sometimes does feel nice and does actually make someone to feel good about themselves and actually know that, yeah, somebody out there does actually think I look nice, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense, but I love you guys. I say that a lot, but I do. I love you guys. Um, and if nobody told you today, you look great today. You matter, and don't let anyone tell you something, tell you anything that you know isn't true about yourself, or anyone demean you just because that's the version of you that they see, or that's the person that they perceive you to be. If you know who you are, then why does it matter what anyone else thinks? What anyone else thinks, sorry. If you know who you are and why you're here, because God has a plan for everyone. And also, that's a different video. And religion, like, I have so many things that I want to talk about with you guys, but think let's take it one step at a time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys, if you made it to the end, make sure you leave this video with a like, or give this podcast a 5 star. And please comment down below. I really want to know if you made it till the end. Comment eggs or fruits, so I know that you made it till the end. And I love you guys to the moon and get back. Sorry. I love you guys to the moon and back, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.